Hi there and welcome to another portion of infotainment. This video counts towards your 5 a day. What was the most bizarre school rule you had in your school? Our handbook stated that you could only address teachers as Mr., Mrs., Ms., Miss, Drive, or Coach. The 60-year-old woman, who was in no way involved with athletics, that taught biology tried to write a referral to one of my friends who insisted on calling her Coach for insubordination. Admin couldn't do anything about it, so they removed Coach from the list of acceptable names and reissued the handbook. This is hilarious. Around my last year of primary school, right here, they suddenly added a rule where you can't talk during your lunch. They said it was so we'd have more time to play afterwards, but you'd have to wait to be dismissed first, so how long it takes to eat doesn't matter at all. At first everyone was silent apart from a few whispers behind the teachers' backs, but then it transitioned into everyone talking quietly. I think the teachers gave in at that point as they said that we can talk as long as it's quiet, then everyone learned to gradually get louder, so by the time I left it was back to normal level. I live in a place where it gets very hot during the day, so when it got too hot for us to play outside during recess, they would make us all sit down and do nothing while still outside. Interesting, how hot does it usually get? Over 100 degrees Fahrenheit all summer. Around 110 during June to August. It's 43 minutes. Where is the convert bot? 2 That both happened in high school, no high fives, as administration considered it bullying. They never once explained how, but it was. They banned any drink that wasn't water or plain milk. They would actually check lunch bags as kids entered to make sure they weren't sneaking anything in. They were especially hard on hot beverages. The years before, high schoolers could have coffee/tea from home, but then they became convinced we were adding sugar to it and banned it. I was getting over laryngitis once and had a travel mug of hot water with honey and lemon like my doctor suggested, and the beach of a gym teacher snatched it and dumped it even though I had a doctor's note. Bonus, we were a K-12 school. They gave 18-year-old seniors the same size portions as 6-year-old kindergarteners. AKA 3 chicken nuggets and 4 carrot sticks, then they'd beach at the older kids if they brought snacks and stuff to eat. You had to finish all the food on your plate. The worst part was that my teacher made me put on foods that I didn't like eating, so I told her that I will get nauseous, but she didn't listen. It didn't take long until I got so nauseous that I threw up all over the table. Homeschool? No. But I'm from Europe if you were confused. I know American schools are different. My elementary school banned soccer for 3 years because I hit the teacher's assistant with the ball as I went to shoot. She was bending down to tie her shoe in the middle of the field. My school banned kickball for a year because we couldn't decide on teams. Not necessarily a bizarre rule, but in 8th grade my school literally had to remind everyone to only use their Google Drive for school purposes because some student used over a terabyte of storage for memes. I wonder who it was. HD memes. I'd guess we'll never know. No mechanical pencils. Also was a rule at my school, we would tear them apart and trade the pieces to customize them, and they eventually had their own economy. It was deemed too distracting and they got banned. No reading your own book after finishing your classwork. During exams at school, internal ones, we used to sit in the exam hall for the whole week. A bunch of us finished our exams on Thursday morning because of the subjects we chose to study, so we brought reading books. About an hour later we were told we weren't allowed to read. When we asked what we were supposed to do, the teachers told us to study. When we said we had nothing to study for, they were stunned. So instead of admitting they were wrong, they instead told us to just sit there. Now I don't know if any of you have had to sit at a desk in a school hall for 2 days straight with nothing to distract you but your angsty teenage thug NTS, but it's pretty close to how I imagine solitary confinement in prison is. Off the top of my head, my high school had a rule that you had to register your car with the school if you wanted to drive to school. That wouldn't be totally weird until you consider that my high school was in a very urban area, and only had one small lot that was for faculty only. Students had to park on the street. So in other words, we had to get a pass from the school in order to park on the public streets. I remember my high school charged $5 for a parking permit per year, but you could also park on the street for free. Then I talked to a couple of friends who went to rural schools, and learned they paid $50 per year where there was no street parking. This was my first lesson in price elasticity. No backpacks allowed. In a high school where lockers were severely lacking, so each locker had 3 people using it. My high school had Anya bags allowed rule, but also you couldn't have a lock on your locker, But also you weren't supposed to have your phone in your pockets during class. None of the teachers actually enforced any of that, but the principal would sometimes try to make people follow his dumb rules. Plot twist, your principal was just trying to steal everyone's stuff. Anyone caught with a chestnut gets suspended. There was a chestnut tree, wild, horse chestnut, in the schoolyard, so one of the activities during recess was of course having chestnut wars. When they were in season, as soon as we'd get out, everyone would pick up as many as they found, take cover, and start launching them at each other. We were all often bruised by it, but no one was a specific target, so it wasn't bullying. I guess we all saw it as more of a friendly sport. It was the status quo and the school didn't seem to mind much, until someone threw one so hard it cracked the window on a teacher's car. A kid admitted it was him, but still, it turned into a big thing and they got strict about not allowing it. After years and years of not seeing each other, a few months ago, by an unrelated sad circumstance, a handful of us from class got reunited for a lunch and walk about town. Someone mentioned the chestnut incident, and as we talked about it, one of the guys said it was actually me who cracked that window, I'm sure of it. I threw that chestnut and followed it with laser focus until it hit that car by accident. I knew it was me but no one else did, and then the other kid admitted to it. I never learned why he did, but of course I never complained. I don't know if it's really bizarre, but dress code for the girls. They aren't even allowed to show shoulders. Last year they almost banned Crocs because someone was offended cause they saw some girls' feet. For the girls who are dress coded, they automatically either get ISS or they have to cover the showing part of skin with duct tape or toilet paper. Yes. We had the no shoulder showing rule for girls, but cleavage was okay. It was always the joke that guys are turned on by the bare shoulder and never the female chest. Just to bear in mind, this was an all-girls grammar school. Shoes could only be black, brown or navy blue. This also applied to hairbands, hair ties. No trainers, sneakers, or boots. Socks, white or navy, had to be pulled up at all times. Write only in fountain pen, pencil is allowed for notes or draft versions. If you make a mistake, cross it through with a ruler and put brackets around it. You have to cover your exercise books. Most people used wrapping paper or sticky-backed plastic. No Windows laptops, yeah, that one still confuses me to this day. School board was on the take from Apple, obviously. Probably a deal with Google actually. Schools seem to love Chromebooks for some reason. I think it's because they're easier to monitor and keep track of than MacBooks and most Windows laptops. At one point when I was in primary school they banned running in the playground. Same, tag was banned. Also couldn't walk faster than the person in front of you ever. So if you were behind a slow kid waiting for his mom, you were forced to miss the bus home. Not a school rule, but one guy in my grade passed the year for the sole reason that he was the only drummer in the school and he threatened to change the school if he had to repeat the year. Our principal didn't want our band not to have a drummer, so the guy passed. Lol, that guy is a genius. Monopolize the drummer position and then blackmail the school so you don't have to work. What would have been your answer or question? Leave it in the comments below. Slap that like and subscribe button for more, and check out the link in the video description for even more answers. Peace out, and catch you in the next video.